Another crazy week in astrology, but definitively getting better. I'm going to show you what I'm seeing in the charts, what it means, and how you should play it. Now, last week I talked about the fact that Mars and Pluto are in opposition. That's going to stay that way for some time. But what I didn't mention was on the 14th, this sun came in and formed a T-square. Now, that T-square is going to stick all the way up until Cinco de Mayo, creating a very rough but incredibly transformative aspect. If you want a video just on T-squares, stick that in the comments. But essentially, that opposition is making people feel, quite frankly, not safe, not secure, not comfortable. And so it's forcing a set of actions that will recreate that sense of comfort and security. Now, last week, you have that Mars in the 8th house, where people are just testing others out, not really taking real actions. But as we have on Tuesday, that Mars moved in the 7th house, you start to actually get outcomes that work with people that make folks feel insecure. So it's less of, let me just do this and see how he reacts so that I can gauge, and more of, okay, now I understand exactly what's up here. Let's make some moves. You will see more and more direct leadership action taken toward the goal that ultimately will allow someone to have that sense of security. Moon starts in the 1st house, but by Friday, it's over where the stellium is in the 3rd house with all those planets. What's that mean? It does start out with this openness and resolve to the fact that the changes have to come from a very personal level, and folks are kind of willing to make that change. But then midweek, that moon is going to move in the 2nd house, and people are going to freak out a little bit about their finances until that moon gets all the way to the 3rd house and is hyperstimulating the stellium. And that moon is in the 3rd house conjunct all of those planets on Friday and Saturday. And that essentially is going to be the time when you can really have conversations, make agreements, and have discussions about how you don't just move forward individually, but together. Now, how do you play that? This is for my people that entered this period in a position of strength. Monday, Tuesday is still absorption mode. If you are trying to negotiate something and you gave your terms and it's still difficult for them to absorb it, give it until Tuesday. Come Tuesday, you can start to really move forward in collaboration. But you want to do so with an understanding that folks are still coming to terms with what that means for the resources that they have. And then on Friday and Saturday, do a recap discussion about how it's going. If you feel you entered April in a position of weakness, use Monday, Tuesday to continue to reassess what it is that this means for you long term. Go easy on yourself as you look at the resources you have, and know that you will have the resources even if it's a little bit tight. And have your discussions on Friday and Saturday, realizing that the other side is not necessarily working against you so much as they're also trying to assess where they should sit in this new world that's being created. Now, particularly for those that have really been having a rough time since essentially November, and even for those that aren't having a rough time but are just like, why is the world insane? Really a 2-week period that we're cresting over some of the worst parts of the craziness that's been since November. I'll be here every week to talk you through what I'm seeing and how to play it, so hit that follow button.